Thank you very much, guys. Not only the mid laner, player of the series, Febiven. So let's start off. Do you feel like you earned player of the series? How'd you feel about your performance there?
Yeah, I mean, I won my lane 2 games in a row. I think first game I played really good in lane, but I had some questionable plays. But I think having mid pressure is really important, and I think it's one of the reasons why we won this series.
One of the picks that you brought out, Lucian, showed up in your draft both games, but only played by you in game 1. This is something that other European mids have kind of failed to execute on. Why do you like picking up the Lucian in the mid lane, and what makes it so good?
I just really like playing Lucian because he has so much mobility and playmaking potential, and I think it's also pretty strong in lane if there's certain champions banned. And yeah, he can always push, he can always make plays, and that's what I like to do.
So we saw it now flexing to the AD carry position into game 2. Did you guys just opt to flex it down there because of the Cassio matchup? What was the decision-making process there?
Yeah, Lucian mid doesn't do really well against Cassio. I mean, Cassio is one of the better matchups against Lucian because if you try to dash in, he can try to W you and then you cannot move and then he can kite you. So I opted for another safe mid lane pick that could actually play with range and outrange her because Cassio has kind of short range and I can abuse that with Victor. So yeah, it was just another good pick.
Makes sense. It definitely paid off for you guys overall. Now you're coming into your second series win. Does that kind of set the bar for expectations for the fans of H2K for this season?
I mean, I don't know what I mean, obviously fans expect us to win more when we go 2-0. I think this week we haven't faced the most hardest opponents yet. So, I mean, personally for me, I don't really like to set expectations. I just go into every game like we are the underdog, you know, and then see what happens. But I think if we keep working hard, then for sure we can be beating all the teams in Europe.
All right. Well, excited to see how that develops for you guys. You talk about these top teams that you're worried about playing. Is that just the Unicorns of Love? Who is on your list for teams to watch out for this season in the ULCS?
I think G2 is probably the best team. Once they get the roster back, then yeah, I think Unicorns and Fnatic are probably the best teams right now in Europe.
What is it about Fnatic for you guys that makes them kind of one of these top teams? Because last season, before the sudden rise through playoffs, this was a team that was not a threat. What was the big difference maker there?
I think they had like a switch in their playstyle and they started playing really aggressive on every lane and actually play individually really well. And then also like coming back to the summer split now, they went to a bootcamp in Korea, which helped them a lot as well, I think. So yeah, I think they will be even better.
Well, it looks like that so far. We'll see how they do against NIP later. Now, final question. You guys are the first team to play up against the Mysterious Monkeys. What are your impressions of that team overall as the newest addition to the LCS?
I mean, it's really tough if you're a challenger team and you come into the LCS and you play against experienced players. I could feel like their macro game wasn't really on point. Also, I feel like the lane matchups were played pretty poorly by the opponents, but I think it's kind of normal if you play against a team which has a lot of experienced players, which I said already, and I think they just have to continue to look to improve and keep screaming the LCS teams and get on the level and just keep playing solo queue.
All right, so maybe some development for those teams to come in the weeks, development for H2K too as you go up against some of those terrifying top teams. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. We're going to toss to a quick break, but when we get back, it will be NIP facing up against Fnatic in our final series of week 1.
Sonic echo,